Lads, in good nick it. I thought I'd switch up the set a little bit today. Keep you on your toes a little bit today. You are in my living room. And today we're going to be comparing the two teams, the 2006 promotion winning Sheffield United team with the 2019 promotion winning Sheffield United team. We had two amazing promotion winning sides. But who will make my final 16? As there's 32 players to go through, 16 on each side, I'm just going to be doing quick fire answers. So don't take it too personal, I've got to choose between the two. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments who you think I got wrong. So let's crack on. So 2006 Paddy Kenny versus 2019 Dean Henderson. Now, even though it pains me to say, I think for this one it's got to be the Judas that is Paddy Kenny. And the only reason for this is I probably trust him a little bit more between the sticks than Dino. Towards the end of the season, Dean Henderson was absolutely incredible. But early on, he had a few jitters. And obviously Paddy had played for us for a few seasons before that. And Paddy was quality. But I do have to say that I do think that Dean Henderson's got more potential to grow and become a great goalkeeper. I think it's safe to say he'll surpass Paddy Kenny in what Paddy's achieved, which it's not really that much. But for this one, I am going to go for Paddy. Then we've got 2006 Rob Kozluk versus 2019 George Baldock. I think it's a bit of a difficult one, this one, because neither of them are standout players. I am going to give it to George Baldock only because he's a much better footballer than Cozzy was. Like, I loved Cozzy, loved him to bits, loved Georgie Baldock to bits. However, I do think George Baldock has the upper hand because he's a better footballer. Cozzy had the throw-in, Cozzy had that never say die attitude, but so did George Baldock. But yeah, it's got to be George. 2006 Chris Shaw versus 2019 Jack O'Connell. Bit of a daft question, this. The only reason why I think it's a daft question is because, like, don't get me wrong, Craig Short, very solid professional, but Jack O'Connell is going places. If he doesn't go places with us, he will go places with somebody else. And in my opinion, in the next 2 to 3 years, I really do think he could be in the England squad. 2006 Chris Morgan versus 2019 John Egan. Now, this is a very, very tough call. And I have got hammered before in the past for, let's say, putting John Egan in the good category or whatever it was. However, I'm going to go against John Egan again. I've got to say Chris Morgan. Chris Morgan had more experience. He led the team very, very well. Now, I'm not saying Egan can't go further than Chris Morgan, which I think he probably will, because Morgan had one Premier League season with us and maybe one with Barnsley, I want to say, but I do think Egan will play lots more Premiership football than Chris Morgan. But for this team, I would have to go with Chris Morgan, mostly for his experience and leadership and the fact that he's just hard as nails, isn't he? 2006 David Unsworth versus 2019 Enda Stevens. Another difficult one here. I do think that David Unsworth really helped us get promotion that season because he was a big, strong left back who got forward sometimes, put in some good crosses, scored some goals, went up for corners, again, scored goals, got his head in there. There's a lot of fullbacks, not saying Enda Stevens is one of these, but there's a lot of fullbacks that aren't good in the air, and obviously David Unsworth was just brilliant, big, strong. The only problem is he sometimes came up against really quick players, and that's where he got undone a little bit. However, saying all that, I am going to go with Enda Stevens. The reason for this is because Enda Stevens was, well, back end of the season was incredible, to say the least. Now, I know that I've gone for other players when I've said, he's got more potential, but I do think that Enda Stevens is a better choice at left back than David Unsworth. Next we've got 2006 Nick Montgomery versus 2019 Ollie Norwood. Now, however much I loved seeing that boy, Nick Montgomery, put that red and white shirt on, I've got to go with Ollie Norwood. It's just a no-brainer, isn't it? Like, don't get me wrong, Monte was brilliant. Brilliant at what he did. He wasn't a great footballer, but he knew that. He got stuck in so much, that boy. Stuck his head in where it needed to be, foot in where it needed to be. Great tackler of the ball. Great leader. Listened to the manager, knew exactly what his job was, and everyone knew what you got with him. And I love Monte for it. However, I do think that Ollie Norwood took us to that next level. We wouldn't have got promoted if it weren't for Ollie Norwood. No chance. So for that reason, Ollie Norwood is my pick. 2006 Phil Jagielka against 2019 John Fleck. Now I know this is a really unfair comparison because Jags is pretty much a defender and Fleck is a midfielder. And Jags did play some of his games in defence, some in midfield, so it was difficult to find somebody else to put Jags up against. However, it's difficult to say really. I'm going to go for Jags because really at that point he was probably our best player and he was just excellent at everything what he did. Yeah, sorry Flecky. Flecky's quality. Flecky is brilliant and I think he'll be brilliant next season again, like he has been the last 3 seasons, but Jags is Jags. 2006 Michael Tong versus 2019 Mark Duffy. Now for sheer importance to the team, I'm going to go for Mark Duffy in this one. Everything goes through Duffy. Every single thing that we create pretty much goes through Mark Duffy. Tongy was quite hit and miss. Sometimes he was absolutely unreal, like top corner Tongy, or just running through players like they're not there. 2 goals against Liverpool. I know these weren't in that season necessarily, but Tongy had some brilliant times at Sheffield United. But everything goes through Duffy. Duffy needs to be in this team. 2006 Chris Armstrong versus 2019 Kieran Freeman. Now, whatever. Doesn't really matter, does it? Like, just for Kieran Freeman's attacking ability, I'm probably just going to go for Kieran Freeman just for an easy life. But I don't really remember that much of Chris Armstrong. I remember him being quite steady, good to rely on. But yeah, I don't really remember him that much. But Kieran Freeman, probably. 2006 Steve Cabot versus 2019 David McGoldrick. Oof, this is where it becomes tricky. Both players had an integral part to us getting promoted. Steve Cabot scored 10 goals, but Didsey scored 15. And I do think that Didsey adds more to the team rather than just goals, and that was pretty much Steve Cabot's game. Didsey can bring the ball down, bring other players into the game, lovely on the ball. Cabot was more of just a goal scorer, I think, in my opinion. He held it up-ish. He wasn't that sort of player though. And don't get me wrong, I love Steve Cabot. Cabot was a brilliant player. However, for this season in particular, I think David McGoldrick added more. 2006 Neil Shipley versus 2019 Gary Madine. Now when we saw Neil Shipley for the first time in a Sheffield United kit, everyone were like, why have we got this big fat bloke? And don't get me wrong, he was still a bit of a tubby bloke, but he was incredible. Absolutely brilliant. So there's no contest for me in this. I thought Gary Madine was very, very lazy. I do think he added a little bit to the team, but nowhere near as much as Neil Shipley. I do think if it weren't for Neil Shipley's hold-up play, bringing other players into the game, we wouldn't have been promoted that season. 2006 Adi Akinbaye versus 2019 Scott Hogan. Both letdowns, weren't they really? Adi Akinbaye came in as kind of this big, strong, fast predator, and he didn't tend to, well, he didn't play that many games really. Scott Hogan came in towards the end, pretty similar to Adi Akinbaye. Both of them scored some really important goals. Obviously Scott Hogan against Ipswich, which pretty much, well, which sorted out promotion. And Adi Akinbaye scored the absolute worldie against Wednesday. And for that reason, I'm going to go for Adi Akinbaye. He's going to go down in folklore for that goal against Wednesday. 2006 Danny Webber versus 2019 Billy Sharp. However much I love Danny Webber, and I love Danny Webber a lot. I love a lot of these players, to be fair. I just keep saying it, don't I? But however much I love Danny Webber, he scored 10 goals that season. He scored the really important one against Cardiff that got us promoted, but there's no contest, is there really? Billy Sharp, 20 plus goals. No one expected him to do it. Lost whatever pace he's got apparently. He's never going to score goals in the Championship. He got us promoted, didn't he? Let's be fair, he got us promoted. He didn't score too many goals towards the back end of the season, but he'd already done his damage. He had done his damage. So yeah, it's got to be Billy. 2006 Paul Eiffel versus 2019 KIERAN Dowell. I think both had and have got potential to be a lot better than what they've been. Obviously KIERAN Dowell's not had... He's had enough games. He should have shown more than what he actually did. He should have probably ousted Mark Duffy from his spot, but he hasn't. And that just proves it. It's not just because of him. Mark Duffy's been brilliant, but Eiffel and Dowell both should have done better than what they've done. However, Paul Eiffel, I didn't even realise, scored 9 goals in that promotion winning season. That's quality from an attacking midfielder slash winger. And for that reason, it's got to be Paul Eiffel. 2006 Delgiri versus 2019 Martin CRANIE. I feel a little bit harsh on Martin CRANIE because he was brilliant. He came in and did exactly what he needed to do. No more, no less. Well, actually, he did a lot more than what we expected him to do. Saying that Middlesbrough fans didn't like him, I just don't get it. They still don't like him. Don't get it. I still think we should have kept him on as well. However, I'm going to go for Delgiri in this one, just because he just gave everything. He gave everything. I remember Wednesday fans telling me that he was just so injury prone. He didn't show it, did he? Kind of like David McGoldrick, but he just put in everything. He bled Sheffield United. Even though he came from Wednesday, he bled Sheffield United. And I'm going to go for Delgiri. Again, probably a bit of a harsh comparison because we only had Martin CRANIE for kind of like half a season, if that. And we had Delgiri for a lot longer, but I'm just going to go for Del anyway. 2006 Chris Lucchetti versus 2019 Chris Basham. Chris Lucchetti. Great defender. Really solid. Very, very solid. But he's not Chris Basham, is he? And the reason why he's not Chris Basham is I remember we played Swindon away and we drew, what did it end up being, like 6-6 or something like that. And Chris Basham, you could see how much it hurt him. You could see how devastated he was. Nobody else really cared. But Basham, you could tell then how dedicated he was. You kind of want to put him on the same pedestal as Monte. So dedicated, and this season, as well as last season and the season before, he's just been brilliant. Even before Wilder, you could tell that he was one of the better players. And he might not be technically gifted, but his marauding forward, his link-up play, his goals, it's just brilliant to watch. Especially from someone who isn't deemed to be a great footballer. What a player. Last but not least, 2006 Neil Warnock versus 2019 Chris Wilder. Is this a difficult one? It's not for me, but I'm going to pretend like it's a difficult one. Neil Warnock did a brilliant job. Had quite a few seasons of underachieving. Saying that, he did well with what he had. And he got us promoted. We got relegated that very next season. However, that Chris Wilder could do the exact same. However, they're both Sheffield lads, so I'm not going to be biased towards either of them. I just think Chris Wilder is a much better manager. Much better. And I think he will prove that next season. So I've got to say, 2 very good promotion winning sides. And I've really enjoyed doing this video and comparing players because it took me down memory lane. Very nice place to be. Well, unless we're talking about the Nigel Adkins memory lane, which we're not going to go down that lane. That's long gone. We're not part of that anymore. So let me know in each instance which player you would have gone for. It'd be great to see. Let me know which ones you think I've got wrong. But it's all opinions, isn't it, guys? They're all great players. They all did his jobs. So yeah, can't be more thankful for that. So put that down in the comments. If you're new around here, please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it, and stay good, Nick.